everyone give the band a round of applause? Can you all hear that? Well, everyone, welcome to the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago main office building, the Barbara J. McGowan main office building. Let's give that a round of applause. We appreciate you all coming out this evening. I know we have some people that are in line getting their food. Please welcome. We want this to be a rather not so stiff and formal environment, so get your food. If you want to get up and get seconds, feel free to do so as well. But we just really appreciate you all being here, and we welcome you into our home. But before we do anything in our boardroom, we always start with the Pledge of Allegiance. So can everyone please rise and pause on your food for just a minute to to join me with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So as I said, thank you for joining us this evening. At this time, I would like to introduce my colleagues that are present. I would like to, if you all could stand and wave when I call your name so everyone could put a face with the name. We'll start with Vice President Teresa Flynn. Our Chairman of Finance, Marcelino Garcia. Commissioner Precious Brady Davis. Commissioner Yumika Brown. Commissioner Daniel Pogoszelski. Commissioner Ada Corral Sepulveda. And Commissioner Mariana Spiropoulos. It is with great pleasure that we gather here today to celebrate Black History Month, a time dedicated to recognizing and honoring the rich contributions of African Americans to our shared history and culture. I would like to welcome our special guests who have joined us this evening. And of course, everyone here is special, so I don't want to say special guests because we thank all of you all for coming, but I do want to acknowledge some of your elected officials or our elected officials that are here, so you can put a face to the name as well. We'll start with Rich Township Supervisor Calvin Jordan. Right, we know that guy. Also, Alderman Derek Curtis of the AC. And we also have a representative from Congressman Jonathan Jackson's office, Danita Allen. This year, we proudly embrace the 2024 National Black History Month theme, African Americans and the Arts. The arts have long been a powerful vehicle for storytelling, activism, and cultural expression. From the rhythm of jazz that healed the souls of people around the world to the poetic verses that spoke of resilience and perseverance, African Americans have made an incredible contribution to artistic history. Following the theme, African Americans and the Arts, in 2024, let us not only reflect on the achievements of the past, but also the present, and look forward to our future generation of artists who will experience today with our youthful keynote speaker and historical orator. We will always support artists, musicians, writers, and performers who carry the torch forward, ensuring that the arts continue to be a motivational force of past and present positive change and achievements. I now welcome MWRD Chairman of Finance, Marcelino Garcia, to introduce our guest vocalist.
Thank you so much, Madam President, and thank you everywhere for being here. I'm excited to share this occasion as I'm honored to introduce our special guest. For those who wish to follow along, the words to the Black National Anthem are in your program. I'm proud to welcome the one and only Theophilus Reed. Theophilus was raised in Chicago with a decades-long career as a performing artist, both vocalist and pianist, arts advocate, and music educator. He has worked with organizations including the Better Voice Foundation, ETA Creative Arts Foundation, Black United Fund of Illinois, Westside Cultural Arts Council, the Black Theater Alliance, also known as the African American Arts Alliance of Chicago, Chicago Alliance for Neighborhood Safety, Urban Gateways, Youth Guidance, Coalition for Improvement Education in South Shore, Moon to Dance Theater, Lakeside Community Committee, and the Ravinia Festival Association, to name a few. Please welcome everyone, Theophilus Reed, and let's be proud and do the Black National Anthem. Mr. Reed.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. And I'd like to thank MWRD for again inviting. Those that are able to, please stand and join us in this national anthem. Lift every voice and sing till the heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the misty skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of darkness and fullness. Sing a song full of the hope that the resurrection brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, with the chest we ride, until the day we hope, unborn and high, yet with a steady beat, and not our weary feet, come to the place for which our Father sighed. Favorite verse. Out of our weary years, out of our silent tears, God has brought us thus far away. God who has parted the way, let us into the light. Keep us forever in the land we pray.
Give him one more round of applause. That was great. I wasn't ready for the 3 verses. I know the first one real good, but 2 and 3, I wasn't so ready. But I would like to introduce our next commissioner that will introduce the next part of this program, Commissioner Mechiya Brown.
Good evening, everyone. That was amazing. Thank you so much, Mr. Reed. We have a wonderful program lined up for you tonight. As President Steele mentioned, this year's Black History Month theme is African Americans in the Arts. Theophilus Reed truly represents the spirit of our ancestors through music. Thank you. Our program this evening will feature a jazz quintet keynote speaker, Mechiya Jamison, who is an environmental artist and an orator, and Mr. Reed, who will share the history of the Black American lived experiences. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the journey through African American and the arts. Please continue to enjoy the refreshments in the back of the room during the program, and I now welcome our Vice President, Patricia Teresa Flynn.
Thank you, Commissioner Brown. Hello, everyone. As we embrace African Americans and the arts, we should remember the profound impact of musical trailblazers such as Duke Ellington, Ella Fitzgerald, Miles Davis, and those others innovative sounds that transcend boundaries and expand the landscape of jazz. Their contributions paved the way for future generations of African American musicians who continue to shape the global music scene. I am pleased to introduce a jazz quintet that has been entertaining Chicagoans for many years. Welcome to the Theophilus Reed Jazz Quintet, who will perform 2 selections for everybody. Thank you so much. Here we go.
Before we get started, and thank you for that lovely introduction, but before we get started, she also mentioned that we stand on the shoulders of those that went ahead of us. And I'm glad she said that, because I have 2 quick quotes that I would like to share. The first one is a quotation by a journalist, and I can't remember the person's name, but this quotation goes this way. And again, we're musicians, so African Americans in the arts, we're representing the musical community. Jazz is the most important contribution made by the American Black to the art of music. It is a dynamic art form which has never remained stagnant. Its history reveals a continuing process of evolution in which its personality has been continuously changing. That's the first. The second is a quote from someone that I looked up to as a musician, as an artist, and that person is Paul Robeson. Paul Robeson said, and I quote, "I am a singer and an actor. I am primarily an artist. Had I been born in Africa, I would have belonged, I hope, to that family that sings and chants to the glories and legends of the tribe. I would have liked in my mature years to have been a wise elder, for I worship wisdom and knowledge and the ways of men." Unquote. That was Paul Robeson. So now I'm going to take a quick moment because I have Chicago or legends performing with me today. And I'm going to start with the elder statesman. On my left and on your right, on saxophone, we have a gentleman that is world-renowned, Mr. R.E. Brown.
All right.
Two of the people like Elvin Jones led his own ensemble, played with Pharaoh's son, is too many to mention. To my left again and to your right, we have Kwame Steve Cobb, who is not only a musician and a percussionist, worked with Roy Ayers and many others, but he's also been the leader of an after-school program for 25 years, working with our young people. So give it up. Speaking of working with our young people, we have Roger Harris on the piano, who was the head of After School Matters for many, many years. And on the bass, we have Mr. Phil Castleberry, who is still currently touring on the blues circuit with Lonnie Brooks, Ronnie Breaker Brooks, and many others. So, with aggregation, yeah, 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 yeah. You know what? If there was ever a man who was generous, gracious, and good, that was my dad, the man, a human being so good he could live like a king, 'cause he knew the real treasures in life to be devoted to, and always stand by me, so I'd be unafraid and to flee. If there was ever a man who was generous, gracious, and good, that was my dad, the man. So
you stand by me, so I be unafraid and free. There was never a man who was generous, gracious, and good. That was my dad, the man. You know, after so many years, music becomes somewhat of a ministry. Some of these songs have some lovely lyrics, and this particular song has lyrics that kind of hit my heart, and I hope they touch your heart as well. I've got a dream for the world. Peace in the rivers and everywhere. Bridges of steel and love. And cities that smile. You know that great empty faces walk by. Hands try to hide all the loneliness. Life has secrets to blow time away. Lost in the noise, lonely as wind. People on the sidewalk with no place to go. Will they learn to understand this world of love that I'm dreaming? I got a dream for the world. Kites flying hope through a summer sky. Corners where children play and run in the rain. I've got a sack full of dreams, streets filled with laughter and toy balloons. People with hearts that care, who listen for love. Wanting to sing, wanting to care, wanting to share all my dreams for the world. Will they learn to understand this world of love that I'm dreaming? This world of love that I'm dreaming. This is my sack full of dreams, dreams. My sack is full of dreams. Wow.
Steve Cobb, Roger Harris, and Phil Pensinger. My name is Theophilus Reed. Thank you so much.
That was great. Everyone give them one more round of applause. You even had people, they started getting up and dancing. So that's what we like to see. We're having a good time. Now, I wanted to acknowledge someone in the room. I don't know if MWRD staff and commissioners, you all might remember, we did a resolution for a well-known, famous guitarist, African-American musician we honored with a resolution last year named Stan Champion. His daughter, Nikki, is here. Nikki, can you stand up? Thank you for joining us. And I just wanted you all to definitely see who Nikki was since we gave her dad a resolution not too long ago. But at this point, I want to bring up our next presenter, Commissioner Precious Brady Davis.
Thank you, Madam President. And thank you so much to the Theophilus Reed Jazz Quintet. As we were walking in, I was telling Commissioner Pogoszelski about the rich tradition of the African-American faith when it comes to culture and the vast diaspora when it comes to music in itself. We are blues. We are jazz. We are gospel. And as we're celebrating Black History Month, I can't help but to always evoke the great words of Dr. King, who once said that the moral arc of the universe is long and that it bends towards justice. And I wouldn't be an MWRD commissioner without bringing in a reference for water. And so I want to articulate a quote that Dr. King also shared with us that said, "Until justice rolls down like water and righteousness, like a mighty stream." And that's the work that we're doing here at the district, and I'm so glad to be a part of my first Black History Month celebration here at the district. Speaking of the vast diaspora and influences of the African American community, like I talked about when it comes to music, Chicago being the home of gospel music. Hello, somebody. We can't help but mention all of the ways that African American individuals have shaped American history and culture, and that includes visual arts. Visual arts has been an immense part of creativity and a part of expanding social commentary to the Black experience. Think of the incomparable works of Edmonia Lewis, who was the first professional sculptor representing African American and Native American ancestry, and the only Black female of the era recognized in the American art scene. Her legacy reminds us that art is not only a form of expression, but it is also a powerful catalyst for social change. And with that being said, I am so excited to introduce our keynote speaker today. She is a Southsider, an environmentalist, a storyteller, a curator. She attended the University of Illinois at Chicago, where she studied urban studies and public policy through an environmental lens. During her studies, she was molded by her campus cultural centers and the grassroots community organizations she worked alongside. She is dedicated to cultural, environmental justice and liberation, choosing art as the tool to build solidarity, cultural understanding, and a means of building collective power and consciousness amongst us all. She is the storyteller and communications manager for the Environmental Leadership Program, and amongst her many roles, she is currently contributing to a mobile art to the citywide plan, We Will Chicago. Welcome, Mechiya Jamison.
This is so fun and interesting. Thank you all for having me. And thank you for that beautiful introduction. I so appreciate it. As you can see at the front, there is a part of the installation that I've shown you today. It's a timeline about how water has always played a role in the development of Black culture and Black people in our liberation. What you've seen at the front is the ways that water has been weaponized against Black people over the years, from our coming over to this country to modern day. And I don't ever give, unfortunate history without also shining light on the ways that we've been able to reclaim our relationship with water. And yeah, so that's what this section here is about. So if you all could look at the video, and then we'll talk more about that later. But this is my art, this is my heart.
Capricious anomaly in the sea of space. Planet Earth, are you just floating by a cloud of dust?
We're going to talk a little bit about Mechiya's work, and we're going to talk about this presentation that we just viewed. Wow. I was not expecting that. Let me just write some of the references that I saw that I'm particularly moved by for the culture. Rock the boat. Was anybody moved by that? Aaliyah means something to the Black community, right? She's a patron saint. Waterfalls, TLC. Beyonce, Lemonade. Alvin Ailey, Revelations. Wakanda Forever. Moonlight. Tell me, why are all of those pieces of media included in this expose?
Okay. I wanted to tell a full story about how far we've come. This video is a timeline, so it's in chronological order. I did like a lot of extensive research to figure out where our relationship with water started, where that intimacy came. And that's why I think the front portion is so important, because despite all of the things that have, all the ways that water has been weaponized against us, we've been able to reclaim our relationship every time through to this day. So I think sometimes we take for granted the cultural staples like Baby Boy, like TOC, Waterfalls, like all of those things that like have been able to bring back our relationship with water, how water is not just something that we drink, but it's its own entity that is reflective of change, that is reflective of fluidity and motion, and symbolic of like where we can go and how we can move on. So yeah, I really want us to remember that like we've always done this. This is not a new thing, and in the wake of a climate crisis, it's so important to know that we have what we need, and the culture is a part of that.
And as you talk about the culture, I loved seeing the spirituality component of water that you included in your piece. Both of my children's names were actually in this piece, so very special to me to see that. Yamaya and Zion included. So talk about the spirituality included in this piece of giving homage to Yamaya. And explain that for people who don't know what Yamaya is.
Okay. So I used to have a very difficult relationship with water until one day I had a meditation by Lake Michigan that really changed my whole perspective on life. And it was the clapping of the water that was affirming me. And so that's something that can't be intellectualized, something that you can't look up and read. That's something that's straight from my spirit. And so from there, I was able to dig deeper into African traditional religions and Ifa and Yemaya, Mami Wata, Oshun, who are all Orisha deities that are reflective of water, cool water, sweetness, wholeness, rage, love, sensuality, all of these things that resonate with the core of who I am and really the core of humanity, how we relate to each other. I think that beyond what you can read, what you can write, it's about what you can feel. I couldn't write all of that for you all. I had to put it in a visual form. I had to do months and months of research of the ways that people felt. And they were able to alchemize how they felt about water and put it on screen so that it can live on forever. And I think that's the essence of why spirit is important to me in my art.
And how does that relate currently to Black folk across Chicago and their current relationship with water?
I would say, so this is a piece of I have a whole entire exhibition called Wishing Well that is dedicated to Black people's relationship with water. And throughout the time of the exhibition's run, we had programming that brought people all across Chicago to the space. At the time, it was Fortune House, where we had poetry nights about water called a Flowetry Night. And we had a screening called for a film called Who's Water, which is an independent social justice film about water. And a lot of people who were impacted by those the water shutoffs, lien being put on their house because of water shutoffs, lead in their water, shame about not being able to afford their water bill. Everybody was able to pour out what that meant. And I think that we were able, when you're able to iterate and communicate with people about your needs, that's where the solutions come from. So I think it's important to thank water, to look at water as like, we are 70% water. We have to look at the water and see how it reflects back to us. And when we can mend that relationship, we can create a world of solutions for one another. So I think for Black people across Chicago right now, especially even in America, like the Great Lakes is one of the biggest freshwater water spaces, and it's important for us to protect it. And so I think that it's really now or never to be able to talk about our relationship with water in a way that is healing, because we're a part of the earth.
And what are some effective ways, in particular, that the Black community can articulate their issues with water and it being an equitable environmental justice issue?
I think it starts. I'm a fan of localized work, and I think it starts with the local solutions that are cropping up all around the South Side and the West Side. One of the organizations that I work with to inform the tone and make sure that I was telling an accurate story about water and the inequities that are happening across Chicago was the South Side Organization for Unity and Liberation, or SOUL, and they do a lot of beautiful work across the South Side. So I think it's super important for us to not reinvent the wheel and be informed about what it is that's going on across our neighborhoods into question. You can really only get to that point where you are being informed about water and water inequity if you question why. If you smell your water, if it smells funky, let's ask a question, babe. Let's get curious about it. We can't just take what's being fed to us. Like, we have to be curious. We have to be steadfast about our quality of life.
And lastly, so we here at the district, we care greatly about protecting Lake Michigan. That's the work that we do and why the district was initially created, right, to protect the source of our drinking water. And so how do you think that we can protect Lake Michigan for future generations to come?
I think by being dedicated to an ethic of protecting the water regardless of anything. I think that if your intention is pure and your actions follow your intention about protecting this water, there should be nothing that gets in the way of protecting this water. It doesn't matter how much money, it doesn't matter what deals are on the table. That water is important and deserves to be honored regardless of the situation. So I think this starts with the intention and the action that follows.
Is there anything that I didn't ask you that you want to share with everyone attending today?
When you take a shower tonight, say thank you to the water. Whisper a prayer into your cup, or whisper whatever you need to whisper into your cup. Just and talk to your friends about water. Be curious about water. Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us, Mechiya Jamison.
Hello, everyone. My name is Commissioner Dan Pogozelski, and before I say anything else, as somebody who is someone very partial to history, I just want to acknowledge the historic trailblazers that we have here at the MWRD. President Carrie Steele, the first African-American woman to have been elected to the MWRD. Yumika Brown, recently honored by the Chicago Defender, and Commissioner Precious Brady Davis, who was recently honored by Equality Illinois. And so thank you for indulging. I know it was a little bit off script, but when we say African history, Black history is American history, we have historic folks here. And so I just want to make sure to acknowledge all of them. I hope everyone's enjoying the program and the delicious food from Jerk 48, so thank you. As a guitar player, musician myself, or try to be a musician, I know that the inherent ability of music to convey emotions, narratives, and societal messages has made it an influential tool for shaping cultural identity and driving social change. Music serves as a universal language that transcends linguistic barriers. Through lyrics, melodies, and rhythms, musicians have shared narratives that capture the essence of diverse experiences, whether it's gospel or reflecting the struggles of African Americans, or jazz to express many feelings, or in the early 20th century of hip hop, narrating like a canvas of soulful topics. Each genre and style of music becomes a storytelling medium, preserving histories and conveying the collective consciousness of a community. And with us again this evening is Theophilus Reed. Mr. Reed studied at the American Conservatory of Music and is a fixture on the Chicago music scene. He will share his thoughts on the history of the Black American lived experience and answer questions at the end. Welcome, Mr. Reed. Give it a round of applause.
Thank you so much. Again, my most sincere thanks to the district for having me down here. I've spent most of my life as a performing artist, and coming to you as an orator is a little bit different for me, but being able to speak on something that I love so dearly, hopefully it'll be a little easier. As you know, we African Americans have always depended and leaned on our music to take us through the most trying of times, starting back with the spirituals that contained messages of freedom for those of us that were enslaved in the South. Swing Low, Sweet Chariot oftentimes was a sign that the Underground Railroad was about to take some people away. We evolved into our gospel, and we have a rich heritage in Chicago because we house Thomas Dorsey, who is known as the father of gospel. Then came our jazz. No. I can't leave out the blues. I think the blues came up a little bit earlier than jazz because we had what was called the blues. We had a foot on our neck, and we had the Jim Crow laws that we had to endure through our lives. And then came our jazz, which is, to me, one of our purest forms of expression. Not every musician plays jazz because it takes a certain amount of virtuosity in addition to being able to understand the mechanics of music theory and music harmony. So I don't want to bore you all, but again, these musicians that work with me are some of the finest. And I was just wondering if anyone had questions for me regarding this music. I'll share another historical fact really, really quick. There's the oldest black music organization in the country is known as the AACM, or the Association for the Advancement of Creative Musicians, also started in Chicago, Illinois. Yes? Oh, wait a minute. I want your question, but I just want to say that was a marvelous presentation, and for you to get into Yemanja and Oshun and African traditional religion, you did do some research. What is your question?
Thank you. I just wanted to know what pulled you to that. How did you know that's what you
Good question. As it's mentioned, I did study at the American Conservatory of Music, but that was later in my career. In 1972, I enrolled at the University of Massachusetts, which was a hotbed campus. And at that time, Max Roach was a full professor. Archie Shepp was working on his tenure. There were 5 colleges in the Valley: Mount Holyoke, Smith, Hampshire College, Amherst College, and the university, which was the state school. And during my period on that campus, Max brought everybody on campus. He brought Rahsaan Roland Kirk. He brought Roy Ayers. I met Jimmy Garrison. Some of these names may or may not be familiar to you. And then there was a book that was published back during that era, and it's called The History of, let me get it right, The Music of Black Americans, a historical, written by a lady named Eileen Southern. And if any of you can still find that book in various libraries. And when I read that book and it went through the timeline that I just did, through the spirituals, through the gospel, through the blues, and through the jazz, it made me understand that our music is not just for entertainment. When I worked at ETA Theater, I first heard the term edutainment, music for education, educational entertainment. So again, that book, Eileen Southern, and being on that campus on the East Coast. Before I went to the East Coast, I did R&B and doo-wop music in Chicago. We all emulated the sound that was coming out of Detroit. But when I went to the University of Massachusetts, I got to see these world-renowned musicians and realized that this is what I like. Anybody else? Way in the back.
What's your preferred instrument and why?
Good question. In high school, I played the baritone horn. I got kicked out of the band at the end of my sophomore year. I went and joined the choir. In the choir room, there was a piano, and there were a couple of good piano players. But it wasn't until I went to the university in Amherst, Massachusetts, and in every dormitory, there was a piano in every dormitory. So previous to that time, I had been in Chicago.
singing with these doo-wop groups on the Chitlin Circuit, all the clubs on the South Side, Peyton Place, blah, 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 and so on and so forth. But, and I joined Max's choir. Max Roach had a choir called the Voices of New Africa. And they were bringing in these musicians from New York, and they could really play. I said, Max, I can't get these cats to play for me. You know, I'm young, arrogant, from Chicago, thought I knew what was going on. He said, learn to play something whereas you can accompany yourself. And there are only two instruments that do that, the guitar and the piano. So piano is my preferred instrument because it is the master instrument. I can go from the top to the bottom, from the flutes to the bass, and everything is under your fingers right there. Piano, to answer your question.
Thank you.
Yes.
Go there first. Are you talking to me?
Yes.
I'm gonna bring up Beyonce.
The Queen Bee.
Queen Bee. So Beyonce has a new song called Texas Hold'em, and on that song, she's featuring Rhiannon Giddens, who is a banjo player.
Mm-hmm.
And so Beyonce's talking about her new genre of music that she's going to be focusing on is country music. That's the new genre that she's going to be in for her second act of Renaissance. And so it's been so interesting for me just to see the discourse around Beyonce being in the genre of country music. Because when she posted this new song, they automatically labeled pop. And she had them switch it, that it's actually a country song. And so I feel like she's like reclaiming the Black community's connection to an instrument like the banjo. And so I just would love to know from your perspective, are there other genres that you think that Black people should reclaim, that you would like to see wage or influence?
Good question. Beyonce, she gave us a hint at the Super Bowl with her Super Bowl commercial, didn't she? I hope I don't offend anybody with this statement, but I haven't even said it yet. In my opinion, country western ain't nothing but white folks blues. And I hope that's not offensive. But I say that because in our blues, we told the story of what we were feeling and how we were feeling, be it love, be it rejection, and the country western music does the same thing. It tells the story. So in that aspect, I wouldn't say reclaim. It's, say it the best way you can say it. If country western is the way, is your form of expression, use that. If classical is your form of expression, use that. We all aren't Leontine Price or, but we all have a statement of our own. Find your own voice. We each have a voice of our own, but they're all different, but they're all relevant. Yes, sir.
How long did it take you to find your voice?
I'm still looking for it. I am. I sing and I play, but now I'm trying to discipline myself to write some more, so I'm still looking. One more question.
Dolores.
Who is it?
You have this very talented ensemble here. And some of the songs of the past that come to mind that relate to our culture is like Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, and Amazing Grace.
Oh.
Can they give us a little sampling of that? Not the whole song, but just so that people can feel the energy of it. If they can, if not, that's okay.
I think we can do
Amazing Grace.
Of course. Now, a lot of people don't know, although we embrace that song, Amazing Grace, it was actually written by the captain of a slave ship. Did you know that? Yes. Yes. Who had a revelation in the middle of the storm saying that this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. Lord have mercy, if you let me out of this storm, I'm going to change my ways. Amazing Grace?
Yes. Don? John, you want to sing?
We have another singer.
Right here, we got a singer right here. One of our staffers. Are you going to sing?
How sweet, we both gonna sing this song.
Do the drummer song.
I need you at the top. Oh, take me back to church, y'all.
Amazing grace,
Amazing grace.
how sweet,
How sweet, how sweet, how sweet.
the sound.
The sound of God's voice that saved a wretch. That saved a wretch like me,
Like me,
like me,
like me.
me. I once was lost,
I was lost.
but now
I'm free.
sing, girl.
We
Right
are, we
Right here.
are.
A lovely voice. A lovely voice. And I promise you, you can go to any city in the United States, go in the neighborhood, and you're going to find somebody with awesome talent, and you've never heard their name before.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Reed, a round of applause. Let's give a round of applause for our jazz quartet. Keep it going. And for Mechiya Jamison. And MWRD's very own Dawn. This program is always full of surprises. We had music, dancing, laughter. Dawn, I did not know you could sing. I was very nervous when you walked in. I saw your outfit and I said, oh, she's ready. I don't know what's about to happen, but it's about to go. And you were great, though. You were great. And Mechiya Jamison, you were so inspiring. That was awesome. Your video was awesome. Commissioner Brady Davis, your interview with Mechiya was awesome. I think, you know, we might have found a little calling that we didn't know you had in there, but I know you knew you had it. So you did a great job with that. And like Mechiya mentioned, I do think everyone honestly should probably go home and whatever you think about it, whether it's a prayer to water or whatever, but I do think we often take water for granted. Even we work with water and we do. So imagine, you know, just the average person in their day-to-day activities. So let's just think about that more. That's what I gathered. That's what I got from your video. That we all should probably think of, just try to have more of a personal relationship with water and appreciate it more. And if everyone here could say a prayer for us about water when we have July and August, that would be great. Because we know with climate change and everything, that seems like when those April showers are now coming around. So we might see some intense rainstorms, so we could all do a collective prayer around that time. Also, I want to thank staff who worked to put this together. enjoyed the food, and of course, we always usually everyone's invited to take plates home to go if it's not all gone. So we'll keep that tradition going. But we did have a few commissioners who just played an instrumental role in this program that I want to acknowledge. Commissioner Mechiya Brown, thank you so much for everything you did with this program to get it going. Commissioner Precious Brady Davis, thank you as well. Thank you all staff. I am not going to name them individually because I don't want to forget one of your staff's name and be wrong, but the staff of Mechiya Brown, Precious Brady Davis, and my staff, can you just give a quick wave so everyone can know? Also, definitely got to acknowledge our executive director, Brian Perkovich. And in closing, I would just like to say, let this month be a testament to the enduring spirit of creativity, resilience, and innovation that defines the African American experience. May we continue to recognize and appreciate the invaluable contributions of African Americans to the arts, not just during this month, but throughout the year. We hope you had an enjoyable experience, and this concludes our program, but we thank you all so much for coming out. Thank you.